Guys, in today's video, we're going to show you how to run a RV rooftop air conditioner off of 800 watts of solar and charge your batteries at the same time. So if you want to stick around and find out how we did that, stay tuned. We have an awesome solar build for you guys today. There's a story behind this build, and I think it's absolutely incredible how we made this happen. So stick around, check it out. Let me just update you guys real quick on what's going on. Not too long ago, we did a video installing a 12-volt air conditioner on a horse trailer of friends of ours that rescue horses that are like in not so good condition. And they have a horse trailer that their AC didn't work on it, and sometimes they have to travel, and it'd be nice if they had to stop somewhere overnight, they can run the AC. So we put a 400 amp hour battery in there, put the 12 volt AC in there, and there's no way to charge it unless there's somewhere to plug it in. And I told you guys we'd be probably doing a solar install sometime in the near future. So that's what we're doing today. But for you guys that are new, let me just catch you up on their story real quick.
And what we did is we got into rescuing horses from the slaughter pen, and we realized quickly that on a law enforcement budget we couldn't afford to feed 10 horses from a rescue, so we started doing trail rides to help supplement the income and be able to feed the horses and take great care of them.
This is Dolly. We've had her for almost a year now. She's one of the rescues. When we got her, she was skin and bones. We were able to get her up to weight, and she's actually one of the most chill, docile horses we have here at Reckless Ranch.
When I was talking to BougeRV, I told these guys their story. I explained to them like the money they would be spending on this solar would be well better spent feeding these horses and vet bills and stuff like that. So they stepped up, but here's the catch. They have no idea. I haven't told them yet, and we're going to tell them the good news today, and you're going to be there to let them know. All right, I'm excited about this. Hope you guys are too. We're back over here with Carrie and Chemo, and this is the horse trailer that we put the AC on. They were even just talking about how they were just using the AC recently and they ran the battery down. It ran for a long time, right?
Oh, yeah, it did.
Yeah. But there's no way to charge it right back up. I told you guys I was trying to work with some companies or something to see what they could do to help you guys out with the solar so you can recharge this battery and anything. So I reached out to BougeRV and I talked with them. And I told them guys about your story and how you're helping some of these animals and stuff like that. And we discussed, and they are going to foot the bill for your entire solar build over here. Wow. We got 4 200-watt bifacial panels. We have a charge controller, wires, angle folding mounts for you and everything you need to get this build done. They came through. I just wanted to surprise you guys.
I can't thank them enough. That is incredible. Thank you so much. I mean,
yeah,
that's a lot.
I know that these animals and they mean a lot to you guys, but we got to unload some of this stuff over here because I live in an RV. I have nowhere to store this stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we got our adjustable solar mounts right here. But this isn't it though. We're still waiting on I think 2 more packages. We still have charge controllers, cables, and all that stuff to come. It's gonna be a couple days for us, but it'll be a blink of an eye for you guys. And before we get started, I want to share some stuff with you guys.
This is our youngest guy. This is Lucifer Steak Bottom. Lucifer's mom passed away when he was born, and our friends didn't know how to take care of a baby cow. So he came to us in the back of a car. And he's been on the farm for about 4.5 months now. Lucifer is up to 3 bottles per feeding, and we're trying to introduce him to grain and hay, but he still prefers his baba. So this is Lucifer Steak Bottom.
He's a cutie.
We're back here. This is Kalua. Wanted to introduce you to her. Kalua came to us. She originated in Indiana and then made her way down to Texas. Kalua was in one of the kill pens, and she was actually just a few hours from being sent to slaughter in Mexico, and we went ahead and got her out of there and had her shipped here to Florida. Kalua was a champion barrel racing horse, but unfortunately she had a leg injury that made it so she wasn't as profitable. She couldn't be #1 anymore. She still enjoys her job of racing, but she just couldn't do it on a competitive level any longer, which we assume is what landed her in the kill pen. But we got her out and she absolutely loves her job now. She is our trailhead, so if you come on a trail ride with us, you're likely going to see Kalua. She goes to almost every single ride and enjoys that very much.
Well, how amazing was that? These guys are pretty awesome, taking care of these critters and stuff. And thank you, BougeRV, for ponying up and taking care of these guys to finish their solar build. They appreciate it so much. And we couldn't do any of this without you guys. If you guys weren't watching these videos, this wouldn't be possible. So thank you so much to all you guys out there watching these videos and supporting the channel. We appreciate it so much. Thank you for being here every week, giving the thumbs up, the positive feedback in the comments. And we got a solar build to do, so let's get to it. All right, guys, well, we got all the pieces and parts we need. We are headed back over and we're going to get this install done. I'm excited to try these things out, these bifacial panels from BougeRV. We're going to see how they work, and hopefully they'll power this air conditioner no problem. All right, guys, we're getting everything unboxed and we're trying to beat this sun. We got a little bit of shade over here while it's coming up. Of course, this is the hottest time of the year to be doing this top of a roof. So we're going to try to get up there and get this stuff installed before it gets too warm. And then once we get it all connected, we'll do the inside stuff and test this stuff out. So this is what I've done is I've taken 2 of these pieces of cardboard and cut them out to about the size of the panels. And I'll take one of these brackets up here with me, which are a little bit longer than the panels are. So we're going to try to figure out where we're going to put them on the roof. So I'm going to take these up there, see where we can make them fit. All right, so this is the plan. The AC is right over here. We're probably going to put like 2 here and then 2 here. These things are a little long. You know, usually an RV trailer is 96 inches. This is probably not as wide as a full RV because this is a horse trailer. Of course it's not, but we may trim those down just a smidget, but we'll make them work. All right, guys, well, we got Mustafa over here supervising. We're just going to chop these down just a couple inches just to make them fit for this space a little bit better. Just using a jigsaw with a metal cutting blade. Should go fairly smoothly. All right, first, guys, let's talk about this this solar panel here. This is the BougeRV 200 watt bifacial solar panel. That means it collects sunlight on this side and the back side too. It's basically somewhat like translucent. The light can go through it and then reflect back up onto the cells and collect more solar. And these are the they come in a 12 volt and a 24 volt version. And don't let that fool you. That doesn't actually mean anything. It doesn't mean that, you know, a 12 volt it produces 12 volt. It doesn't. It's way more than that. And, you know, it says this is 24 volt. It doesn't produce 24 volts. That just means the voltage is high enough that it can charge a battery that is either 12 volt or 24 volt. Like this one, the VOC, that's the voltage that this runs at max, is 36.4. This is supposed to be running at 36.4 volts under normal conditions. And it's really hot. This time of year, when panels get hot, they don't perform 100%. They perform a lot less. Even though panels that we have on our RV aren't doing that well because it's Florida, Central Florida, late summer, they're just not going to produce as much. Like when the weather cools off, they actually produce more under cooler temperatures. But then, of course, in the winter, the sun's lower. So it's a, you know, give and take. First thing we're going to do is test these things, but also did want to mention too, I did make a video recently about making useful space of the roof of the RV. And most RVs are like 6 inches wide. You know, a lot of these other like 200 watt panels, they're like 26 to 27 inches wide. So that means that if you cut the RV into thirds, down there, you got about 32 inches for each third. And these are actually 30 inches wide, so you're making the best use of the space on the roof. On that video, I got a lot of people saying, well, I got smaller panels because I want to be able to access my roof and be able to clean and stuff. With these, you're absolutely going to be able to do that. Like if you follow along with our other solar build, we use the BougeRV folding brackets so that we could access the entire center of our roof, walk up and down it. We put these on our panels in the middle, and they've been working great. And that video was all about getting rid of those garbage mounts that come with them that are they're horrible, that you can't, like if you ever have to remove them, it's almost impossible. But with these, it's super easy. Go ahead, spend the extra money. You can have access to your entire roof, which you'll see. And if you ever have to remove a panel, it is super easy. For this part, we got to come out where there's some sun, because we are going to test each one of these panels before we set them up. And basically what we do is we take our multimeter, and this is the multimeter I recommend, and it's really simple to operate. It's off right now. You just go to volts, and then it automatically sets to AC, then you hit select, and it goes to DC. That's the line with the dashes underneath it. That means DC voltage. And then you just take the little probes and stick the black in the negative and the red in the positive, and then you get your reading. I'll leave that link down in the description here below in case you're looking for a good multimeter. I highly recommend it. And plus it does clamp meter for reading amps too. I know you can't see it from here, but it is reading, was reading 36.2 volts, I think. And then of course the cloud came by. Like, as you can see, the sun's not even there, and we're still getting 32.6 volts. But this panel's okay, so we're just going to do that to all of them. And we want to see about 36.5 volts for each one, and there's about a half a volt, give or take. And one of the advantages of going with the 24 volt, which is not 24 volts, is for like a 200 watt panel. If you go to a higher voltage panel, that means it's using lower current. So you can put more in series parallel and still be able to run smaller wire. Like, these are only supposed to run about 6.6 amps. Like, I'm looking through the manual, and the 200 watt bifacial panels that are 12 volt, its current runs at about 12.3. That means if you put two in parallel, that's almost 26. And most people run 10 gauge wire up there for solar. And technically you can run 4 of these 24 volt panels in parallel before you exceed 10 gauge 30 amp limit. But today we're going to be running in series parallel. All right, I'm not going to let you have to sit through this whole thing, but we're just going to take our nut and bolts and just mount these brackets right here on the inside of these. That's pretty simple. And of course these are 10 millimeter. And just do that 16 more times. All right, so then we put these on. It's got a little wing nut, and this will allow it to hinge. A couple more. Well, I'll put them once we get it up there. All right, that comes the fun part, guys. Let's get these things attached to the roof. I wasn't fast enough. We got the sun up on us already. I was hoping to catch the shade of these trees here earlier, but it took a little longer. You know, with filming and everything, it always takes a few minutes longer. We're gonna show you how we're gonna get these things down. All right, first thing I'm gonna do is we're gonna come down here. We're gonna mark where these are gonna go. Now we're just pulling these off on these ends so we can pick them up, and now with this side up, we can lift these and we'll screw them down. So what we're going to do is kind of want to clean off the roof area. Wherever you're going to stick this, we're going to get some Eternabond, and in about 2 places we're going to stick it down. And we got these big lag bolts we're going to put in here, and I keep those marks there so that I know to keep it aligned. We're going to put some die core over here and put a little bit underneath. And then we're just going to take our little lag bolt. And this is going into fiberglass, so these lag bolts should hold pretty hard. Then we'll just take some die core, put it over top. And then basically we're just going to do that to all of them. That one's going to go there. That panel is going to go here. But we're doing this side first so that we can fold this up, and then that'll give us access to be able to do this. And these, I want to show you this real quick. And that's what these are for, is lower down. You can put one of these on here and one on there, and then you can angle these to whatever you need to. But in this case, we're not going to be doing that because they don't actually have a ladder to the roof, so they're not going to be able to access it and tilt them every single time. But we just wanted to show you what they're capable of. So like if you're going out in the Quartzsite, Arizona for a couple months, you want to go out there and tilt your panels with that, you know, winter sun that's kind of low in the sky, you can tilt them up and gain that much more power. And that's what I was saying about the bifacial. Light reflects off of here and you collect more energy on the bottom if you have them lifted up. All right, guys, now we got it all mounted. We're just going to connect these two together. It's pretty easy. We're going to go put a negative under here. Then we come over here, put these two together. We'll leave enough slack in here when you zip tie these so that you can open up these independently. Now we just got to lay these back down and then bolt them back together so they won't flip up. All right, so we got these two in series and these two in series, and to combine these together, I just got some little Y MC4 connectors, which we'll just plug into these, and that'll parallel them together. And sometimes you have to use a fuse when you parallel. The fuse rating on these panels are 15 amps, and the current for each one of these is 6.6, so you double that and it stays under 15 amps. If it stays under the fuse rating, you're not supposed to have to fuse it. But if when you parallel, it goes over the fuse rating of the panel, you have to use a fuse. Otherwise, if one of the panels has a failure, then it could catch fire. But if it's under the fuse rating, it should be fine. But if you're worried about it, just put a fuse in there. And they're just inline fuses. Here, I got one here. So this is an old one, but this is kind of what they look like. There's a fuse inside here. But I'll leave those linked down below too if you want to. Like, I'm going to link all this stuff down in the description area. And, you know, before we go any further, I just want to thank BougeRV once again for helping these guys out and getting their AC working. But we still have to get the cables through there and then hooked up so we can get the AC cranking so we can be inside in the air conditioning. And then we'll see exactly how much power these things are pulling down. That sun's getting high. It's getting up there. All right, this is our pass-through to go through the roof. We just got to put on these little connectors here. These have an O-ring on them. Then just got to feed our cables through here. I've already measured out about how much I think I'm going to need. And we'll just snug these down. And I already drilled a hole coming from down up so that inside a cabinet. And so we're just going to feed these into there. And I just got some butyl tape we're going to put on the bottom of this and then screw it down and die core over it. So we got most of the roof stuff done. I did not plug in those wires to the Y cables for the MC4 connectors yet. I'm gonna wait till we get the breaker in here, the charge controller, and hook up everything to the battery. We charged the battery last night, so it should be full, so we should be able to run it for a while. I should have actually had this thing running while we're up there, so that when we got in here, it was nice and cool, but it is cooling it down fast. I'm just glad to be off that roof. It is ridiculous. But this 12-volt AC is a relief. All right, so from a wireless from the roof, we're going to go to a 30 amp breaker, which we always do double-sided, positive and negative when we're doing solar. And this is going through our BougeRV 60 amp charge controller. We're going to put a fuse on the outgoing side to the battery. And I also went and got them a shunt so that they can read it. And honestly, I prefer Victron, but you know, you have to use an app to see that. Not everybody in here is going to have the app and be able to look at it. So I got one that we're just going to mount in here so they can eyeball it to see what the state of charge of the battery is at all times. We're just going to trace around here, and then we're going to cut this out so I can slip in there. And we're going to install the breaker right up here. And we're just going to strip these off. I got a new pair of strippers. My others are getting a little rusty because, you know, I walk around the salt water all the time, but I'll leave these linked down in the description here below. They're working great so far. And these are just our ferrules. We crimp our ferrules. And these are just for the other end. This is going to go from the breaker to the charge controller. Still plenty of excess there. And I'll leave links for these ferrule kits in the description area. Pretty simple and easy. And we are probably going to put the charge controller right about here. Yeah, I guess it looks about level. All right, and our positive goes right in here. And negative for the solar goes right there. And I just put a couple of ferrules on those. All right, so these are the lugs that came with the charge controller. So we're just going to strip some 4-gauge cable. Those on, and then crimp it down. I think I'm out of heat shrink, so I'm just going to use some electrical tape to tape this up. But usually we use heat shrink. And just do the same thing over here with your negative cable. And here's negative to the battery. That's battery positive. All right, we got an 80 amp fuse right here that we are just going to install right down here. Lock this down. And that'll go to the positive. All right, because we have a couple of different things to connect to the negative, we are going to put the shunt on here. And this part, we're just going to have a little jumper that goes from here to here, and then from here to the battery. And then everything, all the negative is, you know, just pretend this is black, but all the negative is going to go through this bus bar. We don't really need one for the positive, at least not yet anyway. Oh, sorry, now it's time to wire everything up. We got our negative bus bar coming over here, which is going to go to the negative. All the negative stuff is going to go to the bus bar now. And then this over to here. And then we can crank this thing up. All right, so we got everything connected. All the negatives going through here to the negative terminal. All positive is going to the positive terminal. Got the fuse. This has its own inline fuse for the air conditioner. And now we just go up top, connect those MC4 connectors, and then we can flip on the breaker. And Chemo is downloading the app so that we can set the controls and all that stuff. And we got room for 2 more panels over there. And we could probably fit 2 more over here if you needed to. But we'll see how these do first. Okay, guys, now it's the moment of truth. We are going to turn on the solar panels. We are pulling 639 watts in. I'll put it right up here, and that's 53.5 volts at 12.13 amps. All right, so we're pulling in 616 watts, putting in 43 amps, and the air conditioner right now is only using 40.6 amps. So we are running the air conditioner completely off of solar right now. And that was the goal, is to be able to run the air conditioner and off solar if we need to, so it doesn't drain the battery. But we're looking at 612 watts out of the 800. So that's pretty darn good. You know, we might be able to, if we tilted the panels up just a little bit, we'd probably be getting a little bit better, because the sun is more at an angle right now. It's getting later in the summer, so it's not directly overhead anymore. And that's what one of the benefits of the BougeRV tiltable solar mounts are, is you can angle it to the sun if you need to get maximum amount of power. And then, of course, with the bifacial, you're going to get that reflectiveness that's going to help boost that power too. And we're looking at 638 watts, and that's 45 amps. And we're only drawing 40 amps from the air conditioner. So we're putting 5 amps back into the battery, and the rest is going from the rooftop to the air conditioner. And this is great news. That's awesome. Like you can see here, we're pulling 42 amps in from the roof, and the AC is only using 39. So we're keeping ahead. So the battery's not having to use anything. It's all coming from the roof. All right, so all we're going to do to finish this up is we're going to get some cable straps and strap these to the wall over here and get it out of the way. You know, we could have tried to hide this somewhere and did a little more, but then the process of renovating it, so, you know, they really couldn't really use it that much before because they didn't have any air conditioner. But now they can renovate it in the air conditioning, which will be a big help. So they're probably going to get rid of some of these cabinets and stuff like that and put in new, just to update a little bit. But now they can do it in the cool air conditioning. All right, guys, so we just used some Eternabond and some zip ties to clean this up, just to keep it down. All right, so how awesome is that, guys? We are running the air conditioner, we're charging the batteries at the same time with these BougeRV bifacial panels. I like the size of them. I like the 30-inch wide. That is a great use of space. So far, everything's working fantastic. Let's get the man who has to live with it. What do you think?
Hey, from Reckless Ranch to BougeRV, we appreciate you very much. We can't thank you enough. It's excellent.
To supplement the, helping take care of these animals, they do trail rides here in the Central Florida area, and they'll go even take rides on the beaches and stuff. They had a proposal just recently on horseback. It's pretty amazing stuff. So I'll leave all their stuff linked down in the description here below. If you want to go check these guys out, if you're ever in the area, it's a great little excursion, and you help out the farm here. So, and I'll leave links for everything you've seen here today in the description area below. So in case you're interested in getting it, or at least check them out. Thanks for coming along. Hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe, notification bell, all that fancy jazz. Give this video a big thumbs up. Shows that you appreciate the content. And thank you, BougeRV, and hopefully we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.